If you want to continue to follow our adventure, click subscribe. So you don't miss anything, click the bell notification. Hello, Last on the Road subscribers and followers. I have been asked to start classes of this lifestyle, for me to teach people how to do this lifestyle. And I think it's funny because I don't think that what I'm doing is something that is teachable. And my answer is I don't think this is a good idea, because there are other YouTubers who do teach. They actually have seminars each year that people can go out and they can learn how to do this lifestyle. They can learn all about solar panels and generators and how to go to the bathroom in a bucket. And that being said, I also think that there is an issue with this kind of encouragement. I've met actual people who came out on the advice of these folks, got out here and absolutely hate it. So they're teaching folks to come out here, but they don't teach them how to overcome liking or disliking this lifestyle. And once you get out here, the probability of you actually getting back into a stick and brick, I think, is very difficult. So for me to teach someone to come out here and say, all right, you now know how to go to the bathroom in a bucket. The problem is you've never actually went bathroom in a bucket. You know how, I taught you, but you've never done it. So how do you know if you're going to like it? The thing I think is important about this lifestyle is practice, 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 practice. You have to practice what you learn. I started, for example, learning how to wire DC electric really when I was a kid. And I really enjoyed playing with it. I had little solar panel kits that I played with, and as I got older, I learned how to assemble my own solar panels out of these little solar 4x4 inch plates that were like glass. They'd fall apart. You had to solder them together. And I had solar on my house that I installed myself. I had to learn all about charge controllers. I had to learn about inverters and batteries, and there was just a ton to learn. Here I'm 47 years old, and I was working on these things in my late 20s. This lifestyle has been something I've practiced and practiced and practiced all through my life. I've thought about this lifestyle all through my life. I've worked on it. I've spent money on it all through my life, learning different things, failing at different things, succeeding at different things. It's been a lifelong education with lots of practice and lots of practice and lots of practice. My ex-wife and I taught my daughter how to read. We taught her how to read. We homeschooled her. She could read, I think, when she was like 2 years old, 3 years old. She could read better than she could talk. But I can only teach so much. After that, she had to read on her own to learn how to get better at it, faster at it, learning how to read bigger words, learning more and more and more, and practicing and practicing and practicing. To the point when she went to college, she majored in English, and now she's writing novels. One of the reasons that our society requires you not only to take a written exam when you learn how to drive, you have to take a written exam, so you know that they know you know all the rules of the road, but then what do? They require you to practice, practice, practice actually driving with a current driver, someone who already drives. You have to practice, 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 and then you have to take a driver's test. And over time, even after you take that test, you still are learning all the time how to drive. The older you get, the more you drive, the more practice you get, the better you get at it. It's the same thing about living this lifestyle. So some folks say that, well, they don't have a choice but to live this lifestyle. Okay, well, this is a real serious problem in my opinion, because if you're going to come out and live this lifestyle without the practice, you're heading towards a disaster. Think about it. That kid that is driving, if he doesn't practice how to drive with an experienced driver by his side who can grab the steering wheel or say, stop, 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 or there's a stop sign, what, stop, there's a car, pull, you know, if that experienced driver isn't there giving the inexperienced driver practice, that inexperienced driver is going to have an accident. They're going to have an accident. So if you come out here, even though, say I do teach you how to do this lifestyle, if you come out here without the practice, you're going to run into an accident. You're going to run into a problem. How does a person who is going to be forced to live in a car going to get the practice? They're not. And so they're going to make a bad situation, which is they're being forced to live in a car, into a catastrophic condition when that bad thing happens. This is why I continuously say that if you're being forced to live in a car, stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing. and go and learn what you need to do to avoid that situation. First of all, if you have internet and you are watching YouTube videos, which a lot of people who are telling me, I'm going to be forced to live in my car. Well, obviously, if you're writing that statement, you have internet and you are watching my videos to learn how to live in a car. What I would suggest is take some of that time that you're researching living in a car and research how you can stay in your house. One of the things that I think about a lot when I get these questions is, when Carolyn and I wanted to come out here, when we finally decided, okay, we want to live life on the road, we spent several years saving money. If we'd have just worked 40 hours a week, it would have taken us, I think we figured out, 10 years to be able to save enough money and have an emergency fund and everything we need to live on the road. So what we did was, we started working more hours. Carolyn and I were working 80, 90 hours a week, both of us. And within 2 years, we had all the money that we needed. We were debt-free, and we had a large enough savings account that we could come live this lifestyle. Well, if you're getting ready to being forced to live in a car, then my recommendation is do what Carolyn and I did. Try to get another part-time job at least, is what I would desperately ask you to do, because if you come out here, I think you're going to be in a worse situation. I honestly believe this. I've seen it too many times. Work on, while you're on the internet, looking for a different job. Look at situations where you can, on the internet, where you can stay in your stick and brick. Now, another one I've heard is rent is so high that they can't afford it anymore. $1,000 a month or whatever. The last house I rented was $350. Carolyn, when I met her, she was paying $400 in rent. The apartment I rented before the house, I was paying $500 in rent. This is in Missouri, of course, and that is actually fairly common to find houses like this. Carolyn just looked the other day just to confirm that you can still find houses at this price. She found a house and an apartment, $350 and $500. So it's still doable. One of the things I might recommend is if you're in an area that costs that much money to live in, if you're getting ready to be forced to live in your car, perhaps the thing to do is see if you can move to a different area that has lower rent, get another job. Thanks for watching. Click like if you like the video, and happy travels.